Okay, so we're going to do a word problem now. And I will admit that this word problem is a little strange because you have to think of it as not a pure distance like 5 miles, 10 miles, 1 mile. You have to think of it as parts of your journey. Okay, so you go on your bike to and from work. So to work is the first part of your journey, which is we're going to say is 1. From work is the second part of the journey, we're going to say is equal to 1 because they're the same distance. Okay. Now, so your total round trip has 2 parts, going from home to work and then from work to home. Now, you travel that first part, so from work at X miles an hour. Okay. So that first part of your journey takes you at a rate of X miles per hour. Then on the way home, you get to go downhill. So that's going to add 5 miles to your speed. Okay. Now, you have 2 parts of your journey. Okay. And then you want your speed to be at least 12 miles per hour. Okay. So let's talk about at least. Okay. So at least, think about what at least means. I want at least 5 M&Ms. I want at least an B on my test. Okay, so that means you're going to be happy with 5 M&Ms, but you're not going to argue with 6. You would be happy with a B on your test, but you would be ecstatic if you got an A. So at least means that you could have more. So we are going to put this in there. Okay, now let's go over this again. Okay, these are the parts of your journey. That are the same distance. Okay, in running, you would call this an out and back. Okay, so 1 out, then back, and then 2. It's kind of counterintuitive to what you're used to. Okay, this is the speed for the first part of the journey. Okay, and then since the second part of your journey is downhill, this is your speed, and it's going to be faster because you're going downhill. Now, if you put those 2 parts together, you want to have an average of 12 miles per hour. Okay. All right. So this is the setup. Okay. So on your assignment, this is all it wants you to do. Okay. We're going to go a little bit farther. Let's solve it. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce 2 over 12 to 1/6 just to make my life a little easier. So let's go ahead and solve this. Okay, so now I want to do the same thing I did before. I want to set it equal to 0. Because setting it to 0 is going to make it a little easier to find those critical numbers that I need. Okay, now to find critical numbers, you need 1 numerator and 1 denominator. Right now you have 3, so you need to combine your 3 fractions with the common denominator to figure out your answer. Okay, so here we go. My common denominator for this one would be x times x plus 5 times 6. Notice how I'm just multiplying the denominators together. Let's write that a little bit neater. Like that. Okay. So we need to multiply just by what things need. So first fraction, I'm going to do a lot of color coding here, so it's going to take me a bit to write. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's see. Let's multiply here. So let's see here. I got 6x plus 5 plus, and again, I'm just going to multiply. Okay. And now I'm going to take care of the denominators. Okay, looks a little messy. Let's straighten it out, make it look pretty. Okay, here we go. Okay. And that's a negative 1. So I get a negative x squared and a negative 5x. Now, everybody has the same denominator now. So what I can do, so I can do that. Okay, cool. All right, so that looks fairly messy. Let's clean it up. Let's see. So I got negative x squared in the front plus 7x plus a 30, 6x plus 5 greater than or equal to 0. Okay, well, see this right here? Really don't like him. So I'm going to multiply through by a negative, but that's going to change a couple things. That's going to change the direction of my inequality. So I'm going to multiply through by a negative just to make my life a little easier, but that is going to change it into a less than or equal to. So let's see if that makes my life a little easier. Oops. Okay, now on to finding critical points. Okay, now remember, we are solving a word problem having to do with rate. Okay, we want to know how fast we were going on each part of our journey, so our answer should make sense. All right, so I need to find my critical points. So again, critical points are where the numerator and the denominator equal 0. Oops. So x squared minus 7x minus 30. Ooh, thankfully that factors. Check that out. So x is equal to 10 and negative 3. All right. Now, let's do the denominator. Now that's already factored. Now remember, these are the numbers that make the denominator 0, so these are the numbers that are not going to make sense, so they will always get open dots on your graph. Okay, number line time. Now again, when you test your critical points, okay, up to you, but you can use this form, okay, or you might want to try out this guy. Nope, that didn't look right, did it? It might make life a little easier if you use this one. Okay, just an idea. All right, let's get a number line. Okay, remember, negative infinity, positive infinity. All right, so -5, 3, -3, 0, and 10. Now also remember when we do this that some of the answers you get might not make any sense because we are talking speed. I can't pedal my bike -15 miles an hour. Okay, we're talking speed, not velocity. All right, so my test values, let's do -10, -4, -2, I like 5, and 20. Okay, let's put in our open dots as well. And our closed dots. My 0 looks like a trapezoid. And there we go. Okay, so let's plug in some numbers. All right, so -10 and -10 make a negative, 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 negative. Now I'm just mentally plugging in that 10 and just asking myself what sign would I get. So negative divided, or negative times a negative over negative. Okay, so that's positive over positive, which is positive. Not true, that's false. Okay, let's plug in a -4. So that's true. So I'm going to go ahead and shade that, even though an answer there might not be viable. Okay, we're going to go back and check it and ask ourselves, does it make sense? Okay, all right, let's plug in our -2. So negative divided by a negative, positive, false. Let's plug in our 5. And again, I'm just doing this in my head, just checking the signs. Okay, so that's a negative divided by a positive. True. Okay, let's plug in that 20. Okay, so according to my graph, okay, I have answers. Okay, now let's think about this for a second. Okay, my original said this. First part of the journey at X miles per hour, second part of the journey at X plus 5 miles an hour is at least 2 parts of the journey for an average of 12 miles an hour. Okay, if I pick a number in here, what does that say about my speed? Well, it says that it's negative. Okay, so I can't have negative speed. It doesn't make sense in this context. Okay, so having a negative speed just doesn't make any sense. So my viable answer is 0 to 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test it. I'm going to see if it works. So let's test. Okay, let's say on that particular day of work, I bike my X is between 0 and 10. So let's call it 8. Okay, let's see if I get an average speed. All right, so that would be 1 over 8 plus 1 over 13. I want to make sure that that is greater than 2 over 12. I'm checking. So I'm going to get out my handy dandy calculator and add 1/8 plus, 1/13. Okay, and I'm going to get 21 over 104. Okay, now my question is that greater than 2/12? So let's change everything to a decimal. So 21 over 4 is 0.2019. Is that greater than 2 divided by 12? And it is. Okay. Now, just to be on the safe side, let's pick an answer outside of our solution. So let's pick x equals 20. Okay, let's say I was kind of hauling butt. Okay, so let's see. See how that works? Okay, so to get that average speed of at least 12, I need my initial speed to be between 0 and 10, or something wonky is going to happen. Okay, all right, I hope that was helpful. Okay, and again, this is our last video for the rational inequalities. This is the word problem.